Everybody hit the floor, let's get it on. You gotta move your body, don't stop, come on now. Hit the floor, let's get it on. You gotta move your body, don't stop, come on.
Tell me what you gonna do. I come to hit the floor. Believe dance in the morning, how about me and you? Get together, wanna see you move that body. No time to waste, tell me baby girl, can you move your waist? Rock around, that I'm on a big body. How to make you move your body, rock somebody.
Everybody, time to party, come on, hit the floor.
No time for
If you
this.
wanna feel the music, you can say it along. Get up now, time to move somebody. Everybody, grab somebody.
Everybody hit the floor, let's get it on. You gotta move your body, don't stop, come on now. Hit the floor, let's get it on. You gotta move your body, don't stop, come on.
No,
This is the music to do it, just set your mind free. I wanna see how many people hit the floor with me. Fellas, come and party. Ladies, move your body. Everybody stand up. Let me see your hands up.
Everybody, time to party, come on, hit the floor. If you wanna feel the music, you can say it along.
get up.
Time to move
I
somebody.
wanna see you move.
Everybody, grab somebody.
Everybody hit the floor, let's get it on. You gotta move your body, don't stop, come on now. Hit the floor, let's get it on. You gotta move your body, don't stop, come on.
I feel like getting close to you. Can't keep my eyes off of you. Tell me, baby, can you handle it? Man, a rider, instant murder. Move your body. Show me what you got. Give me now, stop, girl. When the night is over, I got some plans for you. Reservation just for two.
Now, it's really time to play.
All the girls all over the world.
Now, it's really
Are your time for play now?
Start the party,
Yes, man.
we did this.
All the girls.
Get up, just
It's a
sing.
worldwide thing. You got to feel this, man.
Everybody hit the floor, let's get it on. You gotta move your body, don't stop, come on now. Hit the floor, let's get it on. You gotta move your body, don't stop, come on.
Finley now on Nash. Nash takes him off the dribble. Wrap around to Stoudemire and the foul. What a pass from Steve Nash. And we'll have a timeout. We'll take a look at that one again.